Did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian?
Very bad feeling about this.
Actually, no, I have a pretty good feeling about this.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Star Wars has the engine thrust capacity at maximum heading into the new year. Lots of new live action, animation, and a major video game. From the debut of live-action Thrawn to the return of the Mandalorian and Grogu, there's lots to keep track of. So, strap in and punch it.
So, this is the top team. The rogue clones on the run from the Empire, huh? Hello. How juicy.
Kick off the new year with the artists formerly known as Experimental Clone Force 99. Hunta, Echo, Rekka, Tech, and Omega are all free agent mercenaries for hire now, making their way in the Empire's early days and finding out that this new world isn't so kind to the clones or the Kaminoans who created them in the first place. The Bad Batch promises a deeper look at the huge galactic transition away from the days of the Republic and into the era of the Empire. Season 2 blasts off in January on Disney+.
You are as its father. A clan of two, but you have removed your helmet. Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
We would like to see the baby, and we will very soon with the long-awaited return of The Mandalorian Season 3 after Grogu definitively chose his papa over the Jedi Order. With a homecoming of sorts to the ruins of Mandalore, Din Djarin needs to redeem himself in the eyes of his Mandalorian sect, and Bo-Katan certainly has thoughts on what it means to be a Mandalorian and who should be running the show after Din's successful claim of the Darksaber. The teaser shows us old friends like Greef Karga, Peli Motto, and Babu Frick, but who knows what Luke Skywalker-level cameos could be in store. The next ride with the Mudhorn clan starts March 1st on Disney+.
All right, kid. Hang on. You ready for an adventure?
I hear you've been busy making yourself the Empire's most wanted.
And while we're on the topic of Order 66 survivors, Cal Kestis is returning to the next leg of his adventure 5 years after the events of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Reportedly featuring new Force abilities and lightsaber fighting styles, Cal is going to see just how far he'll go to protect the ones closest to him as he runs from the reaches of the Empire in an even more uncertain time. We'll see Cal, BD-1, and more return on March 16th. 5 years between games is a long time lore-wise, and to fill in the blanks, there's also a prequel novel set in the gap. In Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, Cal forms a bond with the crew of the Stinger Mantis, but he'll come to face the likes of the Fifth Brother, introduced in Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series. You can catch this novel a week before Jedi Survivor launches on March 7th, 2023.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
And speaking of the Jedi Academy, yes, it's a stretch. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures is a new series focusing on younglings from the High Republic era. Keep in mind, this show is intended for younglings, preschool through grade school, so keep the edgy takedowns about how this show breaks canon by including an Ewok teddy bear or something to a minimum. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures hits Disney Plus in the spring of 2023. Star Wars Visions, the animated anthology series touting 9 anime short films produced by 7 Japanese animation studios, is back for a second volume. This time, the sourcing will be more international, featuring animation from Japanese, Indian, UK, Irish, French, South African, Chilean, and US-based studios. For Season 1, the studios were each given a lot of freedom to interpret and express Star Wars lore as they saw fit, and Volume 2 looks to go even further culturally. Star Wars Visions Volume 2 is set to launch sometime in early 2023 on Disney+. After seeing Rosario Dawson debut the live-action version of a favorite Force wielder in The Mandalorian, fans have been wanting more of Ahsoka Tano. That, of course, includes fans of the ended Star Wars animated show Rebels, because Season 1 of Ahsoka has heavily teased the return of characters like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, and, so far unofficially, Hera Syndulla and Chopper. Also set to reprise is Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka's mentor turned baddest bad guy in the galaxy. Every clash between these two characters so far has been nothing short of electric, so we're looking forward to the live-action take. Ahsoka does not have an official release date, but is expected in the latter part of 2023 on Disney+.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
This is Skeleton Crew. What is Skeleton Crew?
Great question.
Thank you. It's a show about a group of kids who get lost in the Star Wars galaxy.
Star Wars Skeleton Crew is an upcoming mysterious new live-action television series starring Jude Law, announced by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau at Star Wars Celebration 2022. It looks like the closest analogy would be the Star Wars universe's Stranger Things. Seriously, there's not that much information on this show out yet, only that it's an Amblin-esque coming-of-age story about a group of kids lost in space around the time frame of The Mandalorian, and that it was initially codenamed Grammar Rodeo, which is a pretty brilliant Simpsons reference at least. Creator John Watts only revealed it's the story of their journey trying to find their way home. It stars 4 kids, but it's not a kids show. Star Wars Goonies, or the Skeleton Crew, is set for release sometime in 2023 on Disney+.
There is a darkness reaching like rust into everything around us. We let it grow, and now it's here. It's here, and it's not visiting anymore.
After finishing off what many of us are calling one of the best things in the Star Wars universe, Andor Season 2 is definitely something we're eager to see. Season 1 showed us not only Cassian Andor's path to the front of the Rebel Alliance, but the Rebel Alliance's path to being a necessity in opposition to the Empire, through the stories of characters like Mon Mothma and Luthen Rael. While Season 1 covered the course of 1 year, 5 years before Rogue One, Season 2 is expected to cover much more distance and introduce us to the beloved stalwart droid K2SO. With very high critic and audience scores for Andor Season 1, we can't wait for more of Tony Gilroy's slow-burn Star Wars storytelling. Andor Season 2 does not have a release date, but it will likely appear in 2024 at the earliest on Disney+. We now have plot details on Star Wars Acolyte, the first Sith-fronted entry from Star Wars. Featuring a plot by the Sith to infiltrate the Jedi at the end of the High Republic era, this mystery thriller promises to show the rise of the dark side of the Force as a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate crimes that, we're guessing here, will be very much tied to the Sith and be quite more grim and monstrous than what the Jedi are used to facing at this point in time. Touting a killer cast with the likes of Amanda Stenberg, Daphne Keane, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Manny Jacinto, among others, this is a Star Wars story you'll want to make sure you don't miss. We'd help you with that, but there are no details on when Star Wars Acolyte will be released. But it looks like it'll be 8 episodes long and on Disney+.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
But of course, Lucasfilm always has a bunch of irons on the fire, so you'll probably also read and hear production updates on these Star Wars projects that are reportedly still in development phase. Lando Calrissian is a scoundrel ace pilot and maybe the best-dressed man in the galaxy. A limited series about him is in the works on Disney+, stylized as Star Wars Lando, with Justin Simien developing a story. We have no other details except an interview from Kathleen Kennedy saying they were waiting for Donald Glover to finish other projects first. Atlanta completed its final season in fall 2022, so hopefully we hear of movement on this project soon.
System failure. Have to reroute sensory modulators.
It's alright, save energy. I'm gonna get you out of here, alright?
Director Taika Waititi is taking the helm of an as-yet untitled Star Wars film. Waititi was said to be working on a script with Christy Wilson Cairns in 2020, and artwork featuring a floating geometric shape was shown in an investor's broadcast that year. The times given for this have been broad, sometimes between 2023 to 2025. We can't say anything about the plot, but for good clues, we'd point toward Waititi's other work like Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, along with the Season 1 episode of The Mandalorian he directed, Chapter 8, Redemption. You may remember this as the episode IG-11 saves Grogu and Team Mando in a standoff at the Navarro Cantina, later sacrificing itself for their survival before Moff Gideon shows up with the Darksaber. It's a great episode of a great show, so this bodes well for his upcoming film.
Manufacturer's protocol dictates I cannot be captured. I must be destroyed.
Damon Lindelof's Star Wars sequel is being called a top priority at Lucasfilm, while details remain locked down. THR reports that it will take place at some point after the rise of Skywalker, which would be a largely brand new and unexplored era, and while it wouldn't necessarily be about the sequel characters, they could pop in at certain points. Let's hope this doesn't just quietly disappear from the schedule like Rian Johnson's trilogy, yeah? The Book of Boba Fett Season 2 is seemingly confirmed thanks to an alleged leaked Spanish poster labeling the second Boba Fett outing as Muy Pronto, or coming soon. That's about all we have on the second book, and it isn't officially confirmed yet, but it isn't a stretch to think Boba Fett and friends would be back for a continued story. Fans, and reportedly Tamora Morrison himself, are hoping for a Boba more like his comic self, but time will tell. Yes, the mastermind credited for the success of Marvel Studios is stretching over to the Star Wars galaxy in an upcoming movie. There are only a few details out about this one, but we do know it'll be written by Michael Waldron, screenwriter of Loki and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The film has also been called a standalone, not connected to the main Skywalker story per se, and other than that, it's a mystery. They're playing their Sabak cards close to the chest on this one, but we'll let you know as soon as more details become clear. Hey, thanks for watching, and for more Star Wars, here's how The Night of a Thousand Tears sets up The Mandalorian Season 3. So check that out, and make sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
All right, kid. Hang on. You ready for an adventure?